Hi, I'm Beth Trapani, and this is the third in a series of conversations about the connection between healthy bodies and healthy minds. It's brought to you by Mission Healthy Living, which is funded by the Pottstown Area Health and Wellness Foundation. And our guest for this conversation is Cindy Gadzicki, and she's a health and physical education teacher in the OJR School District, specifically at the high school. Cindy, you've been with O&J for 27 years, and this is your 34th year of teaching, so quite a wealth of experience. And Owen Roberts and you attended the Healthy Bodies, Healthy Minds Institute, funded by the Pottstown Area Health and Wellness Foundation this past August, and attending again this year coming up. And we wanted to talk about what you learned at the Institute and how you're incorporating it in O&J. What would you say was the number one kind of takeaway from the Institute for you?
I definitely think that people can find ways to incorporate wellness concepts into their everyday life and improve so many things about their bodies, about their minds.
So it's all about the connection between, as you move, it kind of feeds your mind, it primes your mind for learning.
Yes.
How do you see that play out as a health and physical education teacher in your school?
I see it in very many ways. I mean, obviously teaching the physical education piece, having students active. In particular, what I tried to do was incorporate some of the information that I took away from the foundation and actually started a program where students exercise specifically every day, the very first period of the day, 5 days a week at 7:30 in the morning, which is very early, to try to improve their ability to be successful at school.
You know, especially at the high school level, you hear so many kids say that they're tired. We know that our high school kids aren't sleeping enough. How does physical activity help them kind of push through that?
It really does, and I actually did a little survey with the students a couple of weeks ago where there was a continuum, and I had the continuum on the left side said that you were feeling low energy, little bit of just kind of down, and at the other end, higher energy. So I asked them before we started the day where they were on the continuum, and then we went up to the area that we work out in, and after they were finished a fitness activity, they did about 20 minutes of cardio activity. They came back and I asked them to put the after effect where they were on the continuum after we were finished, and all but one student showed significant improvement in their energy level and in their moods. And
that's
so
terrific.
We see it every day.
Have you gotten any feedback from other classroom teachers about how physical activity is helping student performance in the more sedentary classes?
I have. In fact, the group of students that I work with have direct instruction from just a handful of teachers, and they see significant improvements in their ability to focus, particularly the class that follows initially right after the physical activity. They've seen things like improved attendance with those students, improvement in their discipline during the school day. So there are numerous aspects that they're finding are getting improved.
You are working specifically in this class with special needs students?
They're students that have not been extremely successful at O&J, okay. So they're in what's a contained classroom, and like I said, they have direct instruction through a number of teachers who have volunteered to work with them. And we are seeing great improvements in their ability to pick up material, as well as ability, like I said, just to make it to school every day, which is great.
Terrific. Tell us about the team that you took to the Institute.
We took a number of teachers, nurse, a number of support staff, and we went to all different places so that we could pick up as much information as we could. And teachers were talking about doing brain breaks during classes to try to help kids stay focused,
right.
Exercising before some of the standardized testing that we do.
And how do they go about working that in? Because the thing that you hear so often, if you have a friend or a neighbor who's a teacher, is there's just no time. We're so pressed for time, we don't even have time to teach what we need to, let alone, I think as people hear this, they think, well, the school day's so short, how am I going to fit physical activity into that as well?
Right, and brain breaks are just 30 seconds, a minute away from your instruction so that you have students stand up and work with activities that are cross-brained, where you use your right and left sides. And it really helps the students come back and sit back down and be more focused. So I know a lot of teachers, when they just see students struggling, getting frustrated with a new concept, take a brain break and just let them get away from the activity for a minute and then refocus, and sometimes just getting up and moving around. Teachers are using exercise balls as chairs, even in the high school. I know a lot of elementary teachers do that, but we've had teachers in the high school actually requesting exercise balls for students, because in order to stay balanced on the ball, you have to concentrate in addition to...
Give us an example of, we've heard a lot of people say crossing the midline and things. Can you give us an example of what that kind of looks like, what some of those brain breaks might be?
Sure. One of the activities that I've done with students where they'll have to cross their arms, and then they'll have to lift a certain finger. Like, and when your hands are crossed, you know, your left and right hand aren't in the same spot as your brain would conceive, so it's a little more difficult. So it takes a little more concentration. Same thing with closing your eyes and touching a body part from behind you. So
engaging your brain in different ways. So it sounds like there's two types of things. One, engaging your brain in different ways, and two, just the sheer physical activity and the cardio that so many of our kids aren't getting these days. As somebody who has a wealth of experience, have you seen a difference in kids over the last few years as they become more plugged in and getting more screen time?
I definitely think electronics have taken away from outdoor time, and I think that's something that parents really need to concentrate on, that knowing that cardio activity can improve their ability to learn, their ability to stay focused. It can improve their mood. I mean, they've done studies that exercise is as effective as Zoloft is for treating depression. So I would recommend that every parent try to role model activity, as well as making sure that your child gets engaged. And it doesn't have to be a structured activity. It could be going out and riding a bicycle or taking a walk. So I think that's real important.
Your advice for parents when kids come home and they've already spent a long day at school. Some parents say I have to have them sit down and do their homework or they'll never get back to it.
I absolutely never did that with my kids. I actually requested that they go out and play. Just get away from the concentration piece for a little while. Get some physical activity, and not get away by watching TV or sitting down on their phones. But I would definitely encourage them to have them go outside, take a half hour, because I think then the quality time that they'll spend on their homework will be valuable time. They'll be able to concentrate. They won't be distracted near as much. I think all of us, when we are finished an exercise bout, we realize that kind of energized feeling that you have, but it's also easier to sit down then, because you might be a little bit tired, but you also tend to have your bloodstream is energizing and your brain is energized. It's a really good time to try to learn something too.
In the third worst winter that Eastern Pennsylvania has experienced, what do you do if you can't send them outside because it's 20 degrees and there's 2 feet of
lots
snow?
of things, and you don't need many things. You don't need equipment. You don't need a gym in your house. Stairs, walking up and down the stairs. A jump rope doesn't take very much space. You know, if you have a basement, there's so many things. And today, there's so many things. If they're going to go online and find an exercise program. You can find an exercise program anywhere on YouTube and just do 20-minute bout of exercise with somebody leading you. It's great encouragement, too. Terrific.
At Owen J. Roberts, teachers have organized some exercise classes for staff as well?
We have. We have yoga after school. We've had Zumba after school. We have workouts where teachers get discounted rates to sign up for boot camps. And so, yes, we've really tried to incorporate and role model what we would also like to see the students do.
Terrific. If another parent or educator in the area is watching this and they say these are the kinds of things I would like to bring to my school district, what would your advice be?
To definitely go to one of the wellness conferences, because you walk away with a bag full of ideas, simple ideas that don't cost a lot of money, that don't take a lot of equipment, that you don't have to be a physical education teacher to incorporate them into your classroom. You can put movement into activities that you've done for years, to be a review game and have actually students move while they're doing it, and it incorporates exercise right into that program. And the benefits are not just for your heart and lungs, but for your brain. And every teacher would love to find ways to improve students' learning.
Absolutely. So folks should sign up on the website for the Healthy Bodies, Healthy Minds Institute. Great. Cindy, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome.
We look forward to hearing more about how Owen J. Roberts continues to grow in this area.
All right. Thank you.
Again, this is the third in a series of conversations about the connection between healthy bodies and healthy minds, brought to you by Mission Healthy Living, sponsored by the Pottstown Area Health and Wellness Foundation.